welcome to Wholesome Roots. I really am loving this butterfly garden. It has attracted so many natural pollinators, from butterflies to hummingbirds and tons of little bees and wasps just buzzing about, being happy that they have a nice nectar source. This time of year there isn't always a lot of nectar available for those things, so I'm happy to provide that for my loving family of pollinators. Hold on, I'm gonna put it in your bucket. There you go. Hearts loves her banana peels with her extra grains in the morning. She often shares my breakfast with me. I try to eat the banana myself and just give her the peels, but many a time she ends up with the banana too. It's very good for her, good calories and everything. So for those of you that don't know Heart's condition, if you're new to the channel or you missed, this is the one goat in our herd that is at the bottom of the body condition score that you can be. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Let me have some. So, Hearts is a stinker. Hearts had a downward spiral after an unexpected kidding. She's gonna steal my banana. If I don't eat it fast enough, she always steals it. Oh my gosh, Hearts! Oh, you know I love you, girl. I'll let you have my banana. She's so funny. So anyway, Hearts had an unexpected downward spiral after her unexpected kidding. When we received Hearts, she was bred and we didn't know that. Neither did her owner. She must have somehow accidentally got in with the bucks when he was breeding his goats, because all of his goats kidded within 2 to 3 days of her kidding. And when I look at the timeline, it matches up when she came to live with us, is when she would have been just barely bred. So we were not doing the nutritional support of a late stage pregnancy on a goat. Usually the last 2 months of a pregnancy, we give extra grain on the milk stand to train them to be on the milk stand and to get their body condition very healthy so that they're ready to not only labor and kid, but to nurse a baby. We quickly weaned her little buckling as soon as he was 3 months old. I usually let my babies wean themselves from the mom, but because of her body condition, we didn't want to risk her losing any more weight. But she continued to lose weight even after that. We thought we were going to see an immediate improvement, you know? Then one day, when she had gotten so skinny that I could see her ribs, I noticed a very sharp ending on one of her ribs, on her 13th rib, on her left side where her rumen is. I consulted with the vet immediately, and because we were also seeing anemia in her, and her fecal egg exams that we were doing were showing very low egg counts. She had no reason to be anemic, and we were very puzzled with this. So we talked it over with the vet, and the best that we can determine is that that broken rib is rubbing on her rumen, causing some irritation and bleeding to a minor extent that isn't enough to cause her infection. It's not enough to kill her, but it's enough to keep her anemia from being able to recover. We've treated her with iron. We've done all of the supportive care that you can do for this type of situation. And for a little while here, she seemed like she was showing improvement. Her ribs got less noticeable. I will say that. She definitely doesn't have the outline of ribs like she used to. So her ribs are nicely covered again, but the backbone and the hip bone are very protruding still. That's not good. That's not the state you want a goat to be in. So then the question is, do we cull her? Culling an animal generally implies that you are going to euthanize them, sell them, oftentimes to a meat market. If they're cull worthy, they're not going to be something that anybody wants to buy, or retire them for good. So, due to the fact that this little girl has stolen our hearts, because her name is Hearts, but you know, for those of you that know her whole story, she stole my heart when she was a kid. She was born the same year as Bo, and I didn't have Bo until he was a little older. He didn't come to live with me, and so I was visiting him at his farm, and Hearts was like always kissing me and rubbing on my legs, and I just was like, Dave, please tell me if you ever sell this goat because I want her. And then he surprised me one day and showed up with Hearts, rosemary, parsley, and thyme and said, here you go. And I was like, yes, I got my Hearts. So she's a very special goat. She is like a puppy dog. She is very affectionate and she loves being with her humans. So we have decided that we don't have it in us. As long as she is not in pain, she's not suffering by any means. She has quite the life of leisure, actually. She gets to hang out with us whenever we're out here working on projects. She comes out and hangs out with us. She gets extra grain. After she eats with the other yearlings, she gets grain on her own. She gets extra grazing time in choice areas. So she is by no means suffering. She's a very happy goat. So I don't see any reason why she would need to be euthanized. She's not getting worse. She's just not getting better. So then the other form of culling is by selling a goat. Now this could be because the goat is not performing for you the way you want, or they just don't have the qualities and traits that you want, or you just have too much of their genetic makeup in your herd. It doesn't necessarily mean that the goat is unworthy of going to another herd. But oftentimes when you have a goat that you find isn't perfect for your herd, there's not going to be a lot of other herds that consider them quality for their herd. There are some differences, considering I want to have more Nupines and Nubians than I do Alpines. The only Alpine I consider worthy for milk production is Kitty. Rocky and Cream are the two I want to sell. I have not had any luck selling them yet, and I hope to find them a good home, because Rocky actually is a pretty nice looking goat. She's got a pretty nice little udder that produces pretty well for her size. And her daughter, Cream, should be even better because she came from a bigger buck with a higher milk line. So for me, not wanting Alpines and not wanting tiny teats in my herd are the reason for culling those two. And by culling, I mean selling. My first option is to sell them to another herd or another backyard breeder that would like to continue breeding them and get their milk. Then there's old age cull. I will never ever be able to do an old age cull. My goats are probably, I'm probably gonna end up with a whole herd of old lady goats. What is it, Daisy? Was there a wasp chasing you? You just came running. So Dominique here is our oldest goat. So her herd retired her from their breeding program because they needed her to be in a situation where she was gonna have hands-on attention every day. And that's why we were blessed with the ability to have her join our herd. We could probably get another year or two of breeding from her if we are careful and watch her closely, keep her body condition score up high, keep her healthy, then she's definitely capable of a couple more babies. My intention with her is that I will breed her this year, and if I get a doe from her, I will probably retire her and let her live out the rest of her days as a happy goat, just enjoying living here with us as a pet. You like it up there, Cream? Can you jump up to the next level? Let's see you do it. You can do it. Do it. Are you not a performing goat? Come on. Come on, up here. Nope. Daisy, you are clinging to me today. She's like, take 2 steps away from me and I'm gonna take 2 steps closer. Sweet girl. And then we have the underproducer, Fancy Girl. This udder has never really done that much for us. She is a beautiful goat with great conformation and that beautiful Roman nose like none of my others have. I mean, they all have Roman noses, but hers is so pronounced and gorgeous. And that's a quality that I just adore in Nubians. So I have been breeding her every year because I want a doe from her. She has great teat size and great orifice size, but her production level isn't as high as we would like. So if I breed her with a high producing buck, we could get a really nice udder with high production from her. But there's no promises. And then there's the sensitive, emotional side of me that considers Fancy Girl my best friend. I started out with her. She is my #1 baby girl, and she really is my best friend. Guys, if you ate a little slower, you wouldn't have to sneeze out the hay that's getting stuck up your noses. Goats are funny. They love this hay. It is really, really good hay. I'm glad we're getting it for a good price. Fancy Girl, you're wearing it. You're wearing it. What? You don't want somebody to come in and steal it with you? Funny girl. So Fancy Girl is not a cull because she's my best friend. And so there are some that you just have that emotional connection to that you just hang on. But it is a really good idea for you to evaluate your herd at every kidding season and choose who's doing what you want to see in your herd. What do you want to see in your herd? You make that decision and you have to try to improve your herd every year. So for me, it's by finding bucks that are really high quality bucks that can help improve my herd. And that's why Bo and Fluffernutter are such an asset to our herd. Hi, Daisy. Daisy's clingy. Daisy's clingy. So we definitely look at high quality bucks as a great investment, and we will spend more money on a buck than a doe if it means that we're going to improve the quality of our next year's kids. Right now we have already bred Bo with quite a few of our girls and gotten quite a few doelings from him, so that's pretty awesome. Hopefully this year Fluffernutter is going to produce some. We really want to see what he does for our herd and how he can help improve our diversity in our herd. So it'll be a while before we need to buy another buck. Oh, she won't let me get by. Daisy, Daisy, go for a walk with me. You gonna go for a walk with me? Where are we going? Huh? So decisions to cull a goat are important and they are difficult. And it is truly up to you, what you're looking for in your herd and what you're capable of doing. If you are confident that a goat needs to be euthanized and that it needs to be culled, then by all means, you should do that. It is not an evil, mean thing. It is a responsible thing in many situations. If Hearts gets to the point where she's in pain or suffering, I will absolutely make that decision. And then it's really hard to sell goats. When you fall in love with an animal like I have with Rocky, it's really hard to sell. But I know what my herd needs, and it's not tiny teats because my hands can't handle it. And plus I want more Nubians and less Alpines. So I'm just doing what I prefer for my herd. And that's what you should do too. In everything that I try to help you guys with and teach you about, always make the decisions that are best for your herd, because that's what you have to live with, is your decision for your herd. And you need to feel confident in it. Anything coming up yet? Nothing? I didn't expect anything quite yet. But I do like to go through after it's been watered or rained on and poke any of the seeds back under the soil that have been exposed by the water coming down. So I'm just going to take a quick look here before I head to the house. Alright, looking pretty good. Excellent. So everything got watered in well, and hopefully we'll see sprouts within days. I feel very fortunate that we do have the amount of space in the pasture to move the goats around, because that's allowed us to have a higher number of goats than some people. Goats require a lot of space. There are some people that keep them in a backyard situation, penned up in small areas, and while I know that that's their decision and their right to do so, it does make me very concerned for the health of those goats and the happiness of those goats too. It's good for goats to have change and go to different locations and such, but it's also really bad for parasites to have them in an enclosed area all the time. But even in a small backyard setting, you can still have a very healthy herd, and you can make it work if you are very on top of it. So for now, we're choosing to have a few extra goat pets. And we're hoping to sell a few. The little bucklings, wethers, are for sale as well. So we're gonna keep trying to sell those 4 goats and then see who we're gonna be kidding and who's gonna be making new babies this year, which is pretty much everybody. So I'm excited about that. Thank you guys for watching. You know the drill. We'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots.